Dear student, today we are going to learn 8th topic of science, useful and harmful microbes. Around us, different types of microorganisms are present. They are called microorganisms because we cannot see them with our eyes. If we want to see them, we need microscope. These microorganisms are useful as well as harmful to us. So let us learn first few examples of useful microorganism. So first we are going to learn lactobacilli. These microorganisms are present in the curd or buttermilk. If we mount a slide of curd or buttermilk under the microscope, we can observe these rod-shaped microorganisms. These microorganisms are anaerobic because they produce energy without using oxygen. Student, do you know how yogurt is formed from the milk? When we inoculate little amount of curd with milk, it changes into curd. Lactobacilli convert the lactose, a sugar which is present in the milk, into lactic acid, due to which the curd becomes sour in taste. And due to decreased pH of the milk, the coagulation of milk takes place and the curd is formed. Hence, these lactobacilli are useful to us because various milk products can be obtained by the fermentation of milk. For example, yogurt, buttermilk, ghee, cheese, and shrikhand. These lactobacilli fermentation, it is also used to obtain cider, coca, pickles of vegetable and many other things. The lactobacilli fermentation, it is also used to treat the abdominal discomfort, that means stomachache. The leavened fodder for milch animal can also be obtained by the fermentation with the help of lactobacilli. This lactobacilli fermentation is also used to make wines as well as bread. Now we are going to learn the second microorganism, rhizobium. On the root nodules of leguminous plant, you will find the root nodules in which these bacteria rhizobium are present. If we mount the slide of these bacteria, you will observe rod-shaped rhizobium bacteria. These bacteria are very useful to plant because they bring about nitrogen fixation, in which the atmospheric nitrogen is converted into nitrogen compound like NO2, NO3 and ammonia. These compounds mixes into the soil and the roots of plant absorb this compound, which is used for the synthesis of protein by the plant. Here, these bacteria live symbiotically. It means plants and bacteria, both of them benefits each other. Rhizobium bacteria provides nitrogen compound to the plant and the plant gives energy to this rhizobium bacteria in the form of carbohydrate. Thus, this process of helping each other is called symbiosis and hence it is also called symbiotic bacteria. After harvesting leguminous plant, farmer purposely dump the root of this plant in the soil to maintain the bacterial population, due to which the fertility of soil is increased. Nowadays, the seeds are coated with the rhizobial solution or powder. After sowing these seeds, the rhizoids enters the plantlets, and this is called rhizobial inoculation, due to which there is increase in the yield of the crop. Now we are going to learn third microorganism, that is yeast. Yeast is a unicellular eukaryotic fungus. There are different varieties of yeast. It grows and multiplies very quickly by the method of asexual reproduction called budding. It is the heterotrophic fungus. Yeast carry out fermentation. It means it convert carbohydrate into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Different species of yeast are used to make different product. The yeast Saccharomyces is used in sugar industry to make alcohol from the molasses. Then the species of yeast called Yerola leptolytica is used to absorb toxin released during the production of palm oil and heavy metals. The species Saccharomyces cerevisiae, it is used for the absorption of pollutants, that is arsenic. The oil spill of oceans are cleaned with the help of Alcanovax virus. Now we are going to learn antibiotics. These antibiotics are the carbon compound which are produced by some bacteria and fungi, and these carbon compound destroys or prevent the growth of harmful microorganism which causes diseases to us. Because of antibiotic, there is a revolution in the field of medicine because many diseases which were incurable become completely eradicated, and hence there is a great contribution of antibiotic in the field of medicine. The scientist Alexander Fleming first discovered the antibiotic penicillin accidentally. He was a professor of microbiology at St. Mary Hospital. He was studying on different types of bacteria and fungi. One day he noticed that in one of the petri dish, fungal colonies were grown and the bacteria around that colonies were destroyed. When he learned further, he found that the fungus was penicillin, and because of the secretion of this penicillin, the bacterial colonies are destroyed. And then he made the antibiotic penicillin. So, students, we should be very grateful for such a great scientist Alexander Fleming for discovering this life saving antibiotic. So, penicillin is obtained from a fungus penicillin, and these antibiotics are useful to treat many bacterial infection of ear, nose, throat, skin, and various diseases as well as fever. Student, when we go to the doctor prescribe antibiotic to you, and we will get saved from the different bacterial infections and common cold as well as flu. While taking antibiotic, you have to remember certain thing. You have to bring antibiotics only with the prescription given by the doctor. Don't suggest these antibiotics to others because the bacterial infection may be different. Then you have to complete the course of antibiotic even if you feel well. Now these antibiotics are of two types, that is broad spectrum antibiotic and narrow spectrum antibiotic. What is mean by broad spectrum antibiotic? The antibiotic which is useful against a variety of bacteria like ampicillin, amoxicillin, tetracycline are called broad spectrum antibiotic. While the antibiotic which is useful against only specific microorganism is called narrow spectrum antibiotic. For example, penicillin, gentamicin and erythromycin. Remaining part of this chapter, harmful microorganism, we will continue in the next video. Thank you.